there.
Yeah, I had agree with that. I think a little cheeky B long take as well on the attack side, maybe a slow take of showers. You TP pivot would honestly, I think, dismantle a lot of aspects of this composition. But we'll see if SEN ends up sticking with it. Oh, God, they're going to switch it up ever so slightly. But is that just the rolls instead? I'm not too sure. But still, it is the standard comp from what we're used to of teams playing. And this comp is good for a reason. It's the meta for a reason with a lot of teams playing.
We haven't seen them play since week 4. They were trying out the deadlock on this map. They've moved away from that to now play just the default 100 Thieves comp here. This is the match that Sentinels, I think they need to win map 1. Come out with strength. If this is a close, drawn-out affair against FPX, it's going to be hard to tell if this team is really back. They're champions for a reason. Zazi's one of the 4 players who has won one before, but FPX have to feel so powered up watching the other teams from SEN succeed, watching Trace make it to playoffs as a #1 seed, and playing against one of their idols in TENS today.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into map 1, shall we? We're going to send it over to your casters, making their champion Seoul debut. It's my boys, Doug and Baby Bay.
Thanks so much, Handsome. We've got a banger of a match for you guys teed up right now. Dre, there isn't a ton of story between these two teams, but when you think about the individual path that they've taken to get here, it's vastly different. FPX seems like they're on the up and up. Meanwhile, the Sentinels feel like they're on like a tragic tumble.
Yeah, I mean, they started off great in the year, and then it was just like a slow burn where they slowly just faded and faded. And FPX, yeah, you're 100% right. They've looked great, especially internationally, taking Heretics the distance, not only in Shanghai, but here as well in Seoul. So this is going to be a banger match so far. And honestly, this Chamber, Autumn, he was so good with the Operator and that Headhunter last time around. So expect big things out of this guy.
He's already on the move. Look at that aggressive line he's taking.
Super aggressive, trying to get ahead of that Viper. But poised so far from Sentinels.
With Berlin over his shoulder, he creeps up further and further. A couple of warning shots.
Что за хуйня?
but he's just able to take just a little bit of a step back to reinforce position.
Давно отклонялось.
Sentinels are doing second and tens, are getting a couple, but again, the superior weaponry out from the defensive side continues to cause problems. John QT and Zelsis, the only two that remain. Yeah, they got the spike down. I mean, Zelsis has a molly,
чё за
John
Малевич,
has a
блядь?
spit. There might be a shot at this. I just don't know if there's going to be enough delay.
Все, блядь, don't need нахуй.
I mean, that molly does delay for quite
Здорово,
a bit.
ребят.
That Omen paranoia was too strong.
Хорошо, блядь, мои мальчики.
But honestly,
Трахают.
a very nice approach from Sentinels. Getting the spike plan and getting damage done.
Трахают.
Could have
Трахают.
definitely been worse.
Трахают.
Yeah, for sure. That could have gone infinitely worse. But I mean, I do think you mentioned it. Berlin hit a really nice paranoia as soon as
ебать,
he
и
tried
на
to
это
retake a couple
хуёвит.
showers, and that was really all they needed.
Я ебал.
Yes, there were a couple of nice shots out from Sentinels, but
Чё такое, блядь,
the utility
шлюхи?
at the end and the numbers advantage that the defensive side had was just too much.
Most definitely. And that approach from Sentinels was so slow. Though from life. Pretty good. It will be a contact play here in B-Long.
Всё равно хуйня.
Along with Sens, the 1-2 punch.
Gotta be
Я не
cautious
знаю,
for
ребят,
an
но надо
outlaw,
ждать,
then
походу.
You've got 3 rifles and then just a sheriff. So if FPX are able to convert this bonus,
Я
this
вижу,
snowball would
ну
be
я не
huge.
знаю, что сделать,
This would
блядь.
be massive, and it would be so detrimental to Sen, who I feel like are such a team that is based off of momentum.
Young's moving. He's on the hunt. Sasi looked like he was a bit asleep at the wheel for a second there.
Yeah, he definitely got caught sleeping at the wheel right there. Maybe looking at the mini-map, but it's a walk down. Oh my goodness!
What in the world was that? That was so fast.
Nasty stuff. A lot of players there just go for the double outlaw. But the
Yeah.
switch to the headhunter, it's instantaneous.
I had bad flashes.
Ну чё такое, блядь?
Of like the chamber meta. Who's here? You still have a trip that's currently
Можешь
down.
получить награду за покупку личных подарочных подписчиков во время прямой трансляции. Apple TV, чего? На канале включены награды? Чё?
I don't know that there's a way for John to do this.
Да чё такое чё за Apple TV,
Done.
блядь?
I mean, all off of the back
Что
of
это?
bottom. What a monster. Area.
Again, the op will be a difficult thing to try to retake around it. The spike has been going off for a little while here. That Dizzy tagged, what, 3?
Haunt doesn't quite connect on anybody there.
If they can't alleviate some of the shower spray U-Haul pressure, it's going to be a problem. There's still one there. Tens, beautiful timing. Ion's left to his own devices. And there's no way you survive in a situation like that.
And this is a different type of Sen. This is the old Sen that we know to dominate. They look so decisive, so much more confident. They look more comfortable. I think that's the best word I can say. They tried mixing up their compositions in the last, couple matches they played, and it just didn't go their way. Yeah, they had a little success on Lotus with the deadlock, But on this map, the last time Sen played, they were running a deadlock solo smoke brim. It's so hard to play, especially on the defensive side, when you only have brim smokes on the field. So easy to bait out. So I really like this change going back to that 100 Thieves composition, the double initiator. And Zekin is the type of duelist that requires teammates to help him throw utility for him to entry. This is why you saw Zekin struggle so hard on Ascent. There was no flashes for him besides Omen.
He does seem to be notably more comfortable, as the rest of the Sentinel squad does too, as you were talking about just a few moments ago. And I think as we see FPX call a timeout here early on in the first half, a lot of what we were just talking about around how Zekin he struggled tremendously against Gen G. I want to be careful, because I don't think that was the reason why they lost. I think there were a lot of things that were going on that unfortunately didn't go their way. I think you look back at the last 3 matches that they've played, they've had one player go positive every single time.
Yeah.
So you've got one guy who's kind of treading water, kind of trying to stay afloat, while the rest of them are really struggling. And yeah, Zekin is unfortunately the most recent example of that.
Yeah.
But it has really been tough sledding for Sentinels these last couple of matches across the board.
But it looks like they finally got their foot in the door here, bringing it within 1 round with a start that was looking really dominant from FPX. I don't think FPX was ready for that force buy from Sentinels, that thrash. That was such a big call.
And it worked out.
So risky.
Take a look at the purchase for FPX here. 2 rifles, and a couple of sheriffs. Heavy lean towards A. Again, Lysaurus being asked and being called upon to hold B on his own. Three on the round for the Initiator, as we're tied at 3 apiece. And I think we talked a little bit about how FPX looked very comfortable. They looked aggressive at the beginning. You think about that showers push that happened from Autumn on the pistol and a couple of other things like that. Sentinels they've seemed to have figured out how to deal with that so far.
Yeah, they haven't been getting punished early on. This time their executes are way more decisive, maybe because of the supporting utility that they have, you know, the ultimates most notably.
Sure.
I mean, those can give you a lot of confidence running into sight.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
And Saucy, he's such a good LAN player, man. When it comes to champs, when it comes to these big moments, he always...
Bye.
What a shot.
Oh, an elbow is all it took.
Yeah, that first jiggle.
And then, honestly, that was such a bold swing out from Autumn, too. He was past the point of his TP at that point.
I mean, you got to make something happen, right? With that operator, him just sitting back in passive angles was not working for them in the last couple of rounds. Oh, it's picks across the board right now.
This is tough, man. This throws the attack into such a tizzy. If you're not finding success on either side of the map, you're thrown into plan C, plan D of your approach.
And you have no smokes on the field right now. Berlin took a little bit to get there, but he gets the kill. Life, he might get a third into this round. But it's Berlin to clean it all up. And that's off the back of that aggression from Autumn's operator. I mean, worst case scenario, Autumn there, like he peeks there, no one's there. He has all the info for his team. They're able to cheat over towards the A site. So I like him stepping past the TP. You have such an advantage when you're peeking riflers with an op. And you got to play to it.
Lysaur was close by 2, if I remember correctly. So even if he does, for some reason, not win that, there's a chance for the op to get picked up and then, you know, kind of reset on the round. But now it's on Sentinels to try to slow things down. They're going to burn their first time out of the map and see what sort of adjustments are there. I mean, again, Autumn should have that op online going into the next, but for Sentinels here, we've seen them put up 4 in a row. Finally, a little bit of the bleeding has been stopped, and FPX seem to have a little bit more momentum their way. But Dre, I'd love to get your thoughts, because that felt like that worked because of picks on opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and it was on both controllers as well.
Yeah.
So the change for
the
change for SEN will probably just be, okay, let's use utility this time and just take control of either showers or take control of B-Long with utility to find out if the operator's there, because he's gonna TP away. Like when you playing against a chamber, you want to use utility to find out where he's at and just push him back. Make him use that rechargeable. And then in that window of time, that 30-second frame that you have, you can come up with a plan and